I refused to rekindle a relationship with my ex-wife because she had an affair.
There's a reason she's your ex.
I know what you're going to say. It's fake and that you saw this in a Hallmark Christmas movie, and I'm right there with you. Honestly, I wouldn't believe it either if it didn't happen to me. So, if you can't believe it, then just pretend and give me advice anyways, like I'm a real person. Because I am.
You are a real person, OP.
By the way, this comes from amazing a-hole on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So I, 32 male, met Sarah, 30 female, that's where you went wrong, in grade school in our small town. She was my first everything, girlfriend, love, and eventually wife. We both went to college together, and after I graduated, we got married when I was 23, she was 21. Sarah was still finishing her degree, and I worked hard to support both of us while she completed her studies. When she got her first job, I was so proud of her. It felt like all her sacrifices and hard work were paying off, and I thought we were on our way to building a life together. For 2 years, everything seemed fine. Or at least I thought so.
Dun dun.
Then one day, I come home from work and found her packing a bag. She sat down and told me she had been having an affair with a coworker. I was completely oblivious. She was crying and apologetic. She just loved me, but that she was in love with the coworker and they had this chemistry and a deep connection that she never felt this level of excitement and attachment with me.
I'm happy for her to find that reasoning during your relationship.
At the same time, she seemed to be really apologetic and acted very guilty. She moved in with the coworker that night.
Oh, wow. She felt guilty, Riley. She felt guilty that she was cheating on her husband, her first love, her first everything.
That's so funny. Sarah made the divorce quick and as easy as possible. She didn't contest anything and took almost nothing. In the state we live in, you can get a divorce in 10 days if there aren't any children involved. We filed the papers ourselves. No lawyer couldn't afford one. After it was final, she asked if we could be friends. And I am ashamed to say that I just broke down and sobbed like a baby in front of her, said nothing, and left. At that point, she was 23 and I was 25. A couple years later, in early 2020, while riding out COVID in my hometown, my mom casually mentioned that Sarah had married the guy she left me for. Apparently, Sarah's parents and mine had talked about it since they were longtime friends, and Sarah's parents were hesitant about the marriage but supported her. Hearing that stung. I had done everything I could to move on, but knowing she had married her affair partner felt like reopening the wound. I told my mom as kindly as I could that I didn't want to hear about Sarah anymore. She understood and never brought it up again.
That's good.
Dude, you know how many guys I met at church near here that have been divorced and they're under like 23? 3.
That's still a lot. Well, divorce rates are going even more up.
Yeah, I want to change that.
Me too.
I was broken and depressed at first, but I went to see a therapist and got some meds. I got some certifications, and through a friend from college, I got an interview with a global consulting company. My friend was married and couldn't do the amount of travel that job required, so he pushed hard for me to get the position.
Good friend.
I started traveling around the world and pretty much worked all the time at first. On any given day, I was either in the gym, working, or having a virtual therapy session at 3 a.m. I was a dull boy. I got into incredible shape thanks to lifting and running. Eventually, got a long-term project in Romania and was able to meet and have relationships with women.
Nice. Okay. I feel like this is the distraction OP needed.
After every bad breakup, I hit the gym so hard. I lost 25 pounds.
There you go. Good for OP on all of this. Like, this is the distraction that they definitely needed.
Oh, heck yes, dude. Fast forward a few years. Recently, I had a few weeks of vacation saved up, and I wanted to spend Christmas in Iceland. I went to my parents' place in my hometown for Thanksgiving with my sister and brother. Last Thursday, I was at the local independent drugstore in what passed for downtown in my hometown. It was a lunch counter like an old-fashioned drugstore. I got a cup of coffee and sat down at the counter drinking it when Sarah sat down beside me and said hello.
No.
She was super nervous and red in the face. I was shocked and just sat there looking at her. I was exploding inside, but I kept my cool outwardly. She was still beautiful. She was very fit herself and had lost her baby face and became maybe even more beautiful. She started off by apologizing for the way she ended our marriage. I told her she already apologized like 100 times when she dumped me. But she insisted that she was young and stupid, and over time she realized how much she had hurt me. Dude, she's trying to come back to the honey.
Yeah, is she like, oh, he worked out, he looks good, he's traveling, he's enjoying life without me? No, he can't do that.
Oh yeah, because the parents are talking. He said, stop talking about Sarah to me, but Sarah didn't say, stop talking about OP.
Okay. Oh, good. Look at us. And I'm not taking her back. The way OP's writing about it, he wants her back.
Well, this is the first time he's seen her since the divorce.
I think you've done it. I've done it. Like, oh, what happens if you saw your ex? And like, what would you say? Like, I would say this, I would say that. And then when it happens, you're like,
She wanted to meet me later in a less crowded spot with fewer spies. Small town, remember? I shook my head no and told her, frankly, that I didn't see what I could possibly get out of meeting with her again.
Nice.
That kind of took the wind out of her sails. And she kind of deflated. She admitted that it was probably more for her than for me. She said that I'd get closure not only for how she ended things, but for the kind of person she was back then. She wanted to tell me about how she changed and what she'd learned about herself and what real love is. She wanted me to see that the person she'd become is someone that I could respect and maybe be friends with again.
Nope.
I wanted to get the heck out of there. So I just told her I'd think about it. She gave me her number and went home. Apparently, my mother and sister had already heard about it from Sarah's mom. So I am a big dumb victim of some kind of big dumb Hallmark Christmas movie hit job. My sister, 29 female, and mom, 55 female, told me that they kept up with Sarah since our divorce, and they know that she's changed and that I should hear her out. My dad, 56 male, just shook his head and walked off. My brother, 22 male, thought all of this was hilarious. I asked if he wanted to chime in, and he just shrugged his shoulders and said that since Sarah and I knew each other from when we were kids, I should at least hear her out just to keep the peace between our families since we live in a small town.
If I were OP, I don't owe her a damn thing. I don't care about people's peace. I don't care about her peace. You have no idea what trauma OP's gone through.
Yeah, dude, she cheated on him. No one's like hearing that part.
Yeah, why is everyone like kind of like, oh, let's hear her out? Like, she deserves it. You guys have been like lifelong friends. You guys should hear it out. I'm like, no, she burnt that bridge long ago when she moved in with the person she was having an affair with that night. That too. She had an affair on you, and she was like, sorry, it's not you, it's me. And now she's giving you the peace of day that, oh, I've grown as a person. I was young and naive. I want you back in my life.
Gosh, dude, heck no. Personally, I do think that her family would feel insulted if I didn't at least talk with her. I know for a fact that she's living with her parents now, so it seemed like her life completely crapped the bed. I kind of like to get the gory details as maybe a form of schadenfreude, but it's all behind me now, and I think it would all just make me sad. I guess I'm a better man now that I'm more mature, more wealthy, and fitter than I was when I was with her, but I'm still the same guy that she didn't have chemistry or connection with back in the day. So I think whatever comes out of her mouth would be bullcrap. I think she's probably a dragon cosplaying as a princess and wants me to be her white knight. My mom and sister are pushing hard for me to meet her. And my mom says that she's afraid if I didn't at least hear Sarah out, that Sarah's mom will resent her and make her social life more complicated. Let me make it clear that I have no intention of getting back with Sarah. Sarah's beautiful, but so are the women of Romania, Iceland, and elsewhere. And they have the added bonus of not breaking my heart. I'm interested in going just to hear about what happened to her after she dumped me to smooth things over for my folks. What do you think, Reddit? Should I go? I kind of want to. Talk me down off the ledge. Would I be the a-hole if I ghosted my ex-wife and we got a freaking day? Are we going or not?
She doesn't deserve you, OP. That's the thing. I do believe in hearing people out. She wants to give you the closure that you so-called deserve. You don't deserve it. You already had your closure. You already moved on. But I would hear her out. I like giving people second chances. It's like, okay, you changed. I'll hear you. Good for you. And that's it. We go our separate ways.
Yeah, it definitely will close that chapter of your life.
Completely. Yeah. I think that you get the closure that that person wants to give you. You know, I'm not saying she deserves it, but You get that closure. She gets that closure. Finay. It's done.
I think I got closure from my ex whenever I moved out of my hometown.
Yeah, you got distance. You're not getting reminded of her. You're like, now I can move on. That's what OP did. Like, I don't want to hear about it from my family. Don't talk about it. Don't talk about her. I'm going to go travel the world. And at the first maybe a couple of months, he's like, oh, I'm sad. And he's like, why am I sad? I'm traveling the world, enjoying life. I should enjoy it to the fullest.
Yeah, this probably will help OP out in some ways. Therapy session, talk to her.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to bring up some like internal trauma, but I think that's going to be the best for just like the full closure.
We got an update, folks. Hi, I'm apparently known as the Hallmark Christmas movie guy. I'm currently writing this from Iceland. I have some friends I met while doing some consulting work here. This time of year, the days are very short and the northern lights are visible. Unfortunately, it's supposed to be cloudy and rainy for this foreseeable future here, so I'm out of luck with the Aurora Borealis. We're doing a Christmas pub crawl, among other things. Reykjavik is very single-friendly during the holidays. After I posted for the next couple of days, my mom and sister kept bugging me about it until I caved. I know, I made it clear to them that I had no intention of getting back with Sarah and that I was pissed that they thought there was a chance I'd get back together with someone who stabbed their son and brother in the heart. Finally, I told Sarah I'd meet her at the playground at our old school. It's a small town, so there's only one school that's K through 12. When we met, I told her up front that I'm just there as a favor to our parents and my sister. She acknowledged that, and we engaged in a little small talk. She told me that she had started following me on social media. I've since made it friends and family only. And she saw how I've been all over the world and even commented on the girlfriend I had in Romania. I told her the name was Monica, and we had a great time together. Then she started in with the juicy stuff I wanted to hear. Unfortunately, it wasn't very juicy, just regular boring relationship crap. She started living with the guy, and it quickly became apparent that once she was with him, the relationship went from exciting affair to regular humdrum relationship.
Oh, wow. I haven't seen that one coming. Like, that happens every time. Oh, the affair is so spicy. I'm cheating. I can't do this. Oh. And then you get caught, and you're like, now it's boring. Now it's just a standard relationship.
She might have a type for married men now.
She's just
She said she knew the forbidden sparks were gone the first time she had to pick up and launder the guy's skid mark underwear. Yep, she left me for a guy who was barely toilet trained. She said that she was in denial that she couldn't have thrown me away for a guy who was no good, so she doubled down by marrying him. Sarah was always very stubborn. He was apparently a good salesman and earned a lot in commissions, but he was really bad with money. They had a lot of fights about money and household chores, and finally she caught him cheating with a coworker. Oh, the irony.
Wow, what goes around comes around.
She left him with a wrecked credit score. She was pregnant with his kid at the time, so she terminated it, trying to avoid the filter. This was something no one in our families know about. She's been living with her parents and working at the same feed store her dad works at. She said she wanted to reconnect with me due to the fact that we were childhood friends and had been each other's best friends for 17 years, and she missed me. She started on about how much therapy she's been through, and she is a completely different person now. She wants to know how much she cares about me, and that girl I was best friends with is still there, blah, 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 blah. I can't even write this manipulative crap anymore. I guess I'm not a nice guy anymore. I didn't want to start any kind of beef with her family and mine, so I just told her that I also changed since she dumped me. I told her that when I touch something and get burned, I don't touch it anymore. I told her that it's great, she worked on herself, but some new guy idiot will have to benefit from that. When I look at her, all I see is her crying, telling me she's leaving me holding a proverbial knife with my blood all over it. In my mind, she's a person who says, honey, I love you, but I also love stabbing. No, thank you, ma'am. I told her that if we got together, the resentment would make me treat her like crap all the time and that she didn't want or deserve that. I told her good luck in her future endeavors and I hope she keeps up with her changes and that I had to leave to go to Iceland for Christmas. Yes, I was bragging. She was tearing up and trying not to let me see her cry, and I pretended to not notice. By the way, you can notice us and all the similar stories like this on our podcast platforms. Join us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search OK Storytime. And Keon, how you feeling about this? Do you think she wrote this out, scripted it, and memorized her thoughts and
she recited it in the shower as well, and that's what she wanted to say, and she got it out. But guess what? OP is doing the right thing of hearing her out, hearing her sob story, and like, you kind of brought this upon yourself, and he's gonna go to Iceland and go enjoy Christmas pub crawl, and this is great for OP. He's not rubbing it in too much to like hurt her, but he's like, I have my life, and honestly, because of you dumping me, I wouldn't be enjoying my life now. And look how that's changed. You left me for this guy who literally isn't great. He can't even wipe his own ass.
That's crazy. Yeah, OP made it work out.
It's going to make OP feel so much better about himself. It's sorry for the girl. I mean, you brought this upon yourself, but guess what? Sucks for you, Sarah. You brought this upon yourself. You left a great man, and you made him even greater.
Sarahs of the world, stop ruining men's lives.
Stop ruining lives.
Back to the story. My dad was disappointed. I caved to my mom and sister. He made it feel like I failed the test of manhood. I told my mom and sister not to expect any wedding bells or grandchildren/nephews anytime soon. My brother called me a simp, so I had to wrestle him. He got me in a headlock. The guy's getting too big, and I held back too much. I left for Iceland the next day, and I'm there until the new year. I'm headed to Budapest for a following up project. Sarah is not invited.
This was great.
Good job, OP.
No matter how you perceive it, like, if Sarah was the one that got cheated on and OP was, it's just one of those like sweet stories of like, you got cheated on, they left you for someone they thought was better.
And you did the best revenge by working on yourself.
You worked on yourself, you did therapy, you worked out, you traveled the world, and you met cool people, and they come back into your life, crawling back into your life, asking you, oh, like, I messed up, you were the one. And you're just like, okay, well, I was the one, you're not my one anymore. I love this story.
Me too. Also, I hate that you had to go through Sarah OP for you to find your best life, but
sometimes you got to go through those obstacles, to get to the low to enjoy the high.